So students, as we have seen that how liquid is helping us in conduction of electricity. So why not we just make a cell that using the liquid part, that is a solution part, and making a cell out of it and wants to make it to flow the electrons through it. Okay, so here the type of electrolytic cell is look like this. So as you can see, here is the solution part, that could be the part of acid, that could be the part of base and the salt. So anything we can mix, but it should not be a distilled water. And here, as you know, that we are having two electrodes, and out of these electrodes, one is named as anode and another one is cathode, that we are going to discuss in the later one slides. Yeah, so here the electricity that is flowing through the battery, you know that battery is the main part through which we can see that electricity is going to flow, and that too is made up of chemicals. You know that? Yes, in a cell also you are having a lot of chemical that is helping in producing the merge part, like potential energy at one end is more and one end is less. So basically current flows in the positive to the negative direction. So we can say that here the electricity could flow like this, positive terminal to the negative terminal. That we considered because we earlier, like from the very past ancient time, we are going to read like this only. But here the part, actual thing is like this, because you know electricity flows through the, because of the electrons. So electrons are the negative charge particle and they always move towards the positivity because they got attracted. You know that negative and positive attract each other, right? So electrons would be here, a lot amount of the electrons would be present here. That is why it is known as negative terminal, and that electrons would be get attracted towards it and made the electron flow towards negative to the positive. We could judge it like this, that electrons are flowing from negative terminal to the positive terminal. So why not we are taking the current it like that? So that is the reason, because we have just kept the direction of the current. Conventional current is this direction and the actual electrons, it would be in this direction. So whenever someone is asking you what is the direction of current, so current is directed in this part. But if someone asks you from which terminal to what terminal the electrons are moving, so it would always be negative to the positive. That is why here the electrons, so the electrons part that is present in this solution would be flowing towards the positive rod, that is known as anode. So now these two, cathode and anode, what are these? These are electrodes. So what is electrode? Basically, these are made up of the metal or the carbon. Why? Because you know that if we are taking simple wires and dipping it into the liquid, they're not going to function a lot. Like these are very thin first of all, and the amount of electricity, electric charge that are going to flow through them are in a very big amount, so that going to melt this wire. That is why we don't use such a wire directly. Instead, we have just fitted some electrodes there, some rods there. That is known as electrode, because electrons are going to flow through it. So what is it? So it is a solid through which electric current leaves or enters. One is leaving and another one is making the electrons to get enter, and they are made up of carbons and metals. So basically they are of two types. What are the types? One is anode and another one is cathode. Anode is the positive terminal and it gets the battery attached to the battery's positive side, and cathode is the negative terminal and it gets attached to the battery's negative side. Yes, so that is why we just make it sure that these are actually the basic things. They are not like apart from each other. One is the rod. When we are connecting it to the terminals, then only they are going to classify themselves into two types. That is, one is positive, that is anode, and one is negative, that is known as cathode. So here the negative one is going to leave the electron an electron will get entered towards the anode. So anode is the receiver of the electron and cathode would be the giver of the electrons.